Look, if I was to read some kind of foreign language, let's say it's Chinese, I'm trying to read a Chinese sentence, I'd have no idea what I'm looking at. Just like how some of you might think about formulas. You'd think, oh, this is very overwhelming. I have no idea what's going on. Right, because you haven't spent time looking into it. You don't know what it's trying to tell you. That's what math is. All right, let's get this going. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Alex Johnson, and I wanted to make another video about mechanical engineering. Is it really that hard? Last time I made a video about engineering, you guys loved it. There's a lot of new people that came on to see that video, so thank you. And I figured let's make another one because in about 6 or 7 months, I'm going to be graduated. I'm going to be finished with my degree. So I thought this would be good timing to make another video to address, is engineering really that hard? And again, this will be a video for anyone interested in, maybe a college degree in engineering, anyone potentially thinking about going that route, getting a mechanical engineering degree, an engineering degree in general, and maybe you're just trying to feel it out and see if engineering is for you, if mechanical engineering is for you. And if that's so, then this video will be perfect for you, because I remember doing these YouTube searches, doing the Google searches, and I wanted to learn all I could about mechanical engineering before I devoted 4 or 5 years of my life to it, right? So without further ado, let's jump into it. So I want to list out some of the reasons why mechanical engineering might not be for you, and then we'll move on to why it might be for you, or why you should do it if you're on the fence about it. Spoiler alert, I am so glad that I'm getting my degree in mechanical engineering, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody, even thinking about it, even sort of interested in engineering. I would recommend you getting this degree. But let's jump into the reasons why maybe you should not get a degree in engineering. The biggest one here, I think, is if you hate math, if you hate numbers, you hate formulas, and really if you're not willing to learn that, then maybe this is not for you. The degree is very math intensive. For me in mechanical engineering, there's a lot of physics. There's a lot of formulas you're using all throughout your degree. And I honestly thought I'd be able to escape it, because in my earlier years in this degree, I thought that once you finish the math classes, once you go through physics and all that stuff, I thought you'd then go on to more hands-on and learn, modeling and SolidWorks stuff, and maybe more about how machines were made. I don't know. But no, you do use formulas, you use a lot of math and numbers, variables, all that good stuff throughout your entire degree. So all of my classes up to this point have had it. All the exams that you take, you need a calculator, you need a formula sheet, you need to recognize what formulas are for what, and you have to remember all these different things. So if you are not willing to do that, this degree might not be for you. Which, if you're listening to this and that scares you off, let me make a quick case for this, because if you're watching up to this point and you think, oh, I'm not really good with numbers, I've never been good with math, I don't know formulas. Look, I did not either. I spoke in my last video. I sucked at math. I had to redo all the math classes. I was not even good at the algebra class, the intro to algebra, and I'd have a hard time doing the rise over run, the slope, and whatever. So maybe that's you, or maybe you're a little more gifted in math. And either way, that's okay, because we all start somewhere. You can pick up where you left off. You can learn all of these things that you need to know in engineering. You'll be fine. If you're willing to put your mind to it, you're capable. It doesn't matter if you think you're bad at math, you're good at math. It really doesn't matter, because you just have to learn these things. It's just going to be a foundation to all these courses. So look, if I was to read some kind of foreign language, let's say it's Chinese, I'm trying to read a Chinese sentence, I'd have no idea what I'm looking at. Just like how some of you might think about formulas, or if I was to put different variables in front of you, you'd think, oh, this is very overwhelming. I have no idea what's going on. Right, because you haven't spent time looking into it. You don't know what it's trying to tell you. And I hope you're getting to the point I'm making here, because that's what math is. And if you were to take my homework assignments or an exam question from what I'm doing right now, give that to my freshman self when I was just starting, I probably would have said, yep, that's enough to make me quit. I have no idea what's going on here. But that's because you take things one class at a time, one chapter at a time, one problem at a time. Soon enough, you're going to know what's going on, and that's not going to be a problem anymore, okay? You're going to understand the lingo. You're going to understand the variables. And so do not let math not being your strong suit prevent you from going down engineering, because that's ridiculous. And looking back on it, I was always the person that said I was never good at math. I didn't know what was going on in my math class. I never got A's in them. And here I am, almost graduated, and I've never failed a class up to this point. All right, reason number 2 of why an engineering degree might not be for you. If you want college to just be about being able to party every single day and not having to show up to class, going out and having fun with your friends like every day of the week, then this degree might not be for you. You might not get too far in your classes. You definitely won't have the best of grades because it is time intensive. And at the end of the day, that's just what it is. If you're inside of engineering, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Homework assignments you get can feel brutal. Problems that you need to solve can take hours. When you're studying for an exam, that might take days. You might have to pull an all-nighter if you procrastinate your studying. And it's just a lot. It can feel like a lot. And that's why I say you probably won't be able to go out every single night if you're in engineering, because you just have to dedicate a lot of time to understanding how to solve problems, figure out solutions from whatever you're doing. And it just is time intensive. That's what it is. And on top of that, it's not uncommon to have a professor that does not allow you to turn in any late work, no late homework assignments, quizzes, whatever. So that can just up your anxiety and force you to be on top of your assignments and make sure that you get them in if you want to finish with good grades or even a passing grades at time, depending on how hard the class is. And I've learned from my experience that professors will do this because they want to set you up for the real world. They want you to understand how to take responsibility, how to do things on time. And they know that once you get into a real job or you start to go work in industry, there won't be the excuses like, I stayed up late, I had to go and do this thing with my friends. That just won't slide. So a lot of professors can be very strict on assignments and getting things done on time. But outside of these things, honestly, engineering is great. And this is maybe the only downfall when it comes to getting a degree in engineering is that, yes, at times it can be tough. At times it can be very time intensive and you'll have a lot of late nights, early mornings, studying and getting assignments done. But do not let that scare you because there are many good things about getting a degree in engineering. Okay, let us move now to the section which is a little more fun on why you should get a degree in engineering. Number 1, you will be set. In comparison to other degree fields, other options of something to get a degree in, you're going to be set if you become an engineer. And I say this because there's always been a high demand for engineers, and there will continue to be a big need for more engineers in the world. In the eyes of a company, they will give a lot of trust and responsibility to an engineer or an engineering team. And if you don't like that, then again, maybe it's not for you. But sometimes in my own job as a manufacturing engineer, I'll look around and think, man, this is a really tough problem, or this is a tough call to make. And you want to go ask someone else, or sometimes you're not sure what to do. But that's why you get hired as an engineer, so that you can make those kinds of calls. And you have to use your technical rationale. You have to outweigh different decisions. So that's why you can come out of school getting paid well as an engineer. That's why you have typically really good job security. And if you need to switch jobs, you can do that pretty easily. And your experience and your knowledge is valuable because of that reason. According to Google, the typical entry-level engineer coming right out of school earns a salary of about $70,000 a year. Now that's an average, so depending on the role that you're doing, depending on the title that you have, where you live, all those can be different factors. So it could be a little lower, it could be a lot higher. But on average, $70K a year compared to a humanities or social sciences degree, which according to Google again, will earn you about $45,000 coming out of school. And I should add on too, a statistically high percentage of millionaires in the world are engineers. Okay, according to Google again, about 20 to 22% of the world's wealthiest people are engineers, have gone through engineering school. Not saying that this will be you, not saying that this is the best way to get rich. And all things considered, that's why I can say you'll be set if you become an engineer, because typically you're in higher demand. You can get paid a little bit better than other fields. You have more opportunity for growth on average, and there's a lot of options for you if you get that piece of paper that says you are an engineer. And a little side note too about people that might be worried about AI replacing your job as an engineer or coming into engineering and taking the demand away from you. Look, AI is becoming very advanced and it might be taking jobs away very soon. It probably already has. But I would bet to say that as an engineer, especially as a mechanical engineer, software engineer, any of that, you're probably going to still be in very high demand, because when you think about robots, when you think about the infrastructure and trying to provide solutions to the new problems that come with AI and the advancement of robots and all this technology, who's going to do that? Maybe you think, oh, other AI bots will build other AI bots. Maybe down the road, maybe I'm just on a rant at this point, but engineers will still be in great need. You just have different problems at this point, and someone needs to be in charge of the AI, the infrastructure, the building the robots, the making sure they're built correctly. So all of this just to say it's not being replaced in the near future, and you will still have a role as an engineer with the advancement of technology and AI. Okay, with all that being said, let's jump into the second reason of why you should get an engineering degree, and that is because it is such a versatile degree. In my opinion, one of the best things about engineering is that it is so heavy on problem solving and offering solution-based thinking. Let's face it, any job you go to, any role that you take on is going to be problem solving. That's going to be a huge part of it, and engineering will help you think in a way to provide solutions to complex problems. And that's what we are, that's what we do as engineers. You see a problem, you want to try to solve it. You see a situation, you want to think of the best way possible to fix something or to get out of something, and that's what we do best. And to add on to that, because of this skill, you're not going to be confined to just one job as an engineer. Many people think that you'll be stuck at a cubicle for the rest of your life if you become an engineer. It seems very boring, but that's really not the case. And you can do that. You can do a lot of modeling. You could do a lot of stuff on the computer, but you can also be very hands-on. You can go into the field depending on what that is for you. You could be working for mining or aerospace. You could be in the civil industry. There's so many different options for you if you get a degree in engineering. And even if you get a degree in, say, civil engineering, that doesn't prevent you from going to work at a company and maybe manufacturing or whatever the case might be, because there's a lot of compatibility with just engineering in general, and you don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing. Getting this kind of degree makes you compatible with a lot of different things, and I've heard it put that you can take an engineer and trust them to run a business, but you cannot always take a business person and trust them to be an engineer. It just doesn't work that way. I think the word is backwards compatibility, where really if you're an engineer, you have a lot of options before you. That's why if you're questioning what you should do in the future, you don't know exactly what you want to do, you can never go wrong with getting a degree in engineering. And to wrap this all up, I just want to make it clear that if you get a degree in engineering, no matter how long it takes you, 4 or 5, 6 years, it's going to be worth it, in my opinion. And if you want to switch engineering fields, that's okay. If you want to switch fields entirely, you can do that too. If you want to go more down the business route, get an MBA, go more into finance, you can do that from an engineering degree, and people will still look at what you did in your undergrad and understand that it was a challenging degree. You made it through. They can trust you in that way, and you just proved to an employer that, hey, you can solve hard problems, you can stick it through, you can be trusted with more responsibility. And I hope if you're looking at yourself and you don't know what to do with your future, you're on the fence about different degrees, you can never go wrong with being an engineer. And there's going to be a lot of options before you. You'll be high in demand. You can't go wrong with it. So I hope I made that clear today. I appreciate you all for checking this out. Please leave a comment if you want to hear another video more about engineering or my take about anything else. And I'm sorry to say it, I don't think all college degrees are worth getting, but if you are going to go down that route, engineering is never a bad way to go. So thank you guys. Make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you next time.